Okay, I'm actually back out the park uh, next to my aunt's home, and it was actually just next to where my granny's funeral wake was being held a month ago. So, for those who are not aware, about a week ago, last week, since Friday actually, I was actually diagnosed as suffering from COVID via the antigen rapid test, and I was in recovery for about a week. So, I'm back now and I'm actually healthier. So, the test is negative. Test result is negative. So I'm able to actually get out now and walk around and without fears of spreading any viruses or any illness to anyone. So so I promise to actually release more videos pertaining to narcissism, mental health issues, and also maybe the spiritual, physical, emotional impact of narcissism and narcissistic abuse on people who have actually been near them. So yeah, it's pretty. So it's pretty good now. I think that I'm actually going to be more regular. So sorry. Yeah. So my as you all can tell, just from the sound, I'm still having a little bit of the residual effects. I'm not going to spread anything anyway to anyone. I think my mom has antibodies for. Wow, my dad's not sick. He did the test on Friday at the clinic. So yeah, he was just having a cough. So I guess that now that my mom has COVID antibodies and I'm also recovered, so I think none of us would be spreading anything to anyone, very thankfully. So okay, so today I'm going to talk a little bit more about some question that I think a friend of mine was talking to me about quite a number of months and years ago. We were actually talking about whether narcissists are demon possessed, and whether they are actually operating or behaving under some form of demonic possession. Okay, so for those who are not aware, I was brought up in a very Chinese Taoist family background. Although I grew up Christian, during my teenage years, having studied in a Catholic school and having converted since my teenage years. On and off, I fall off, and I actually don't always exactly believe in everything that I was being taught to me. But that's my background in general. So, and I have actually an uncle who's Catholic, Roman Catholic. The rest of my family members are more agnostic or Buddhist. So the funeral of my grandmother, despite her being an agnostic, who didn't really practice any kind of religion, who seemed more atheist, was actually conducted in a very Buddhist style. So it's just a kind of look into my family background. So that kind of gives you an indication that we don't have a real dogmatic stand about this issue. So, but this issue was discussed between me and my friend, who's also a Christian. But a friend of mine actually, he's also a trained astrologer, despite a Christian. So, and he actually gave me a reply that seemed rather surprising, because I was telling him that when you encounter narcissists, one of the few things that many people have reported is the sighting of rather strange, really almost inhuman, not just inhumane, but inhuman, bestial behaviour, or even animalistic behaviour that doesn't seem to be explained logically on the part of the narcissist. So things such as the changing of eye colour on the part of the narcissist, or even the foaming at the mouth, which resembles an animal, like a dog suffering from rabies, depending how you pronounce that, and even the baring of teeth. I myself have witnessed it once during a day of discard, when I was being discarded by the narcissist. The former narcissist in my life. So it doesn't seem to be a very satisfactory cause in the way of science, just to claim, oh, this person is angry, so they are hormones are actually behaving in that way to cause them to behave that way. No, I think that normal people in the right mind do not behave like that. So and even psychology has not given a very satisfactory explanation. So if you think about it, which decent or even human person with a reason that's operating normally would behave like that? And that friend is of the mind. He's of the mind that this narcissist cannot behave like that. With all this phenomenon of eye color changing, like baring of teeth as if to tear you apart from limb to limb, and the foaming in the mouth. He thinks that all these are signs of a demonic spirit or entity possessing a person. Personally, I don't have an explanation for this. It doesn't seem very logical. I witnessed it myself, and a number of people have witnessed it themselves, regardless of their beliefs. I have actually heard an account from someone in the forum that this man is actually a gay man in his 30s. Yeah, he was talking about his ex, how his ex could actually jump from the ground level up to the first floor, in their home, and he really thought that his ex was demon possessed. He thought, oh, I'm not dealing with, that's what he said to everyone in the forum. He said, oh, I'm not actually dealing with a human, I'm dealing with Satan, with the devil. So most of these people actually have similar experiences, and it seems kind of disturbing when you think about it, that all of us are reporting very similar structural, or even just thematic patterns that keep on emerging when it comes to narcissists and the way they behave. I don't think humans behave like that. So I don't think that the narcissist is just crazy. To be on the safe side, and they are operating under the instigation of some other spirits, or maybe something deep inside their mind, the lunatic mind, that's pushing them to behave in a very non-human way. Yeah, it's almost bestial, almost. Yeah, the best words to describe it all is demonic. If demons are formerly spirits of God who decide to turn to evil. Well, the narcissist is a human who decided not to live life, who decided to serve evil as an agent of evil. And hence, because there's no darkness, there's no light in the narcissist. All that they live by is the modus operandi of hurting other people, using other people, and destroying them, their spirits. So if you have read this book by practicing psychiatrist and by the name of M. Scott Peck, the book is actually entitled People of the Lie. You will come across various examples of people in his case studies, some of whom are not actually Christians, some of whom are actually atheists, or even people believing in some strange New Age cult beliefs and very syncretistic and very assimilated beliefs. M. Scott Peck actually had this argument in one of his chapters that these people of the lie are given to lying, and one aspect of them given over to lying is not just in lying about other people, but even believing in their own lies. So they believe in certain lies, such as that they are doing a good job for humanity. They are the people who are being wrong. They are trying their best in life, when in fact they are actually hurting and using other people, manipulating them, causing their spirits to be destroyed. So one of his examples was these parents who actually kept on transferring their second son actually, from school to school, and claiming that his less than stellar performance is because that the schools couldn't actually answer the needs of the child. But at the same time, these parents did something rather strangely and peculiarly dangerous, such as giving the second son the rifle with which his elder brother killed himself as a birthday present. Which normal person actually does that again. But M. Scott Peck actually has this thing about the so-called people of lie, by saying that the parental neglect was actually very rooted in narcissism. It's like I, me, myself. It's not just a person, but it's actually even as a group, a pair, a couple, the man and his wife. They were equally guilty as a whole unit of actually bring about the second son, and also possibly the first son who's already dead, that they bring about their destruction of their spirit. So that kind of narcissism, which leads to a lot of neglect of the child, a lot of possible abuse, and even manipulation of the child's will against their own will. It's a manifestation of evil. If you think about it, the opposite of live, L-I-V-E, is actually evil, E-V-I-L. It's just the opposite. It's an anagram. So it's just disturbing. So you think about it, what are devils and what are demons? They are nothing more than just former spirits and angels belonging to God who have decided to turn against God to serve evil, and that can be applied in a way to humans, that humans having a soul yet choosing in their own free will to serve evil, to destroy others for their own personal gain, out of their own selfish and brutal, cruel narcissism. That is being demonic. Yeah. So I had a joke once with some people. How is it possible to actually snatch and push a narcissist to a ritual of exorcism, regardless of the religious tradition? I mean, it can be Islamic, it can be Catholic, it can be Christian, it can be charismatic Christian, it can be Taoist, Buddhist, or whatever other religious tradition there is out there that believes in exorcism of spirits. How can you just exorcise one spirit out of the narcissist when the narcissist is himself or herself a demon? You get a drift? You can't exorcise a demon. You can exorcise a person, but the narcissist is a demon. It's just, yeah, this is crazy, but but back to this thing about demonic possession. So there are some things that I think that those who have been acquainted with forensic pathology and criminology, you all might remember the case of Ted Bundy, the serial psychopath who went around killing over 30 women, most of whom he didn't really know, in the, I think, 1960s. Yeah, 1960s or 1970s. And during the investigations and the trial of Ted Bundy, there were many journalists who actually tried to tap into his mind. And for those who are not really aware, Ted Bundy was known to be a very disturbing. So he is a very ventriloquistic, or even, he's a very ventriloquistic and theatrical killer. So some of his ways of killing women included pretending to be in need of help, that he needed some form of help. He was limping, or he had a gift for the theatrical. It's almost like as if he could shapeshift into one form or one person or another. So and then, according to one journalist who actually tried to investigate into the case of Ted Bundy, he tried to actually get Ted Bundy to speak about himself in the third person. So it's like, imagine you speaking about yourself, instead of saying me or I, you actually just say, you speak about yourself. Let's say I speak about myself, say Kevin, instead of Kevin says this thing, Kevin does this thing, Kevin did this thing. So there's a kind of detachment in the process. So what this journalist did was to actually get Ted Bundy to speak about himself in the third person, where he's about his experiences of having killed these women. And something rather disturbing emerged in this process, because we know that Ted Bundy has really, really light blue eyes, but in the process of talking about all these different murders that he had committed, his dark blue eyes actually turn a really dark, abysmal black. It doesn't make sense. It is crazy, but on top of that, many of those people who actually, there's only, I think, one woman who actually escaped. But there was a particular neck or trend that woman who escaped mentioned about Ted Bundy that he had a gift for the theatrical, that he seems to have actually studied not just psychology but theater makeup, stage makeup. So that really assisted him in his murders of all these women, because he could pretend to be this and that other person that which was not really his true self. And yeah, it's just ridiculous because we talk about how, you know, devils and even Satan in the Bible is being stated that the devil can actually pretend to be an angel of light. That was in First Peter. Yeah. And it's not just even in the Bible, but I think in most other religious traditions, we have this case where even spirits, they can be quite dubious because we don't really know what their intentions are, and these spirits can often pretend to be a benign spirit, but end up becoming a very malevolent spirit. And yeah, this is something about the spirit world. And if you just, even the case of like the spirit, the tradition of the belief in Maya, M-A-Y-A, Maya, which is actually a Sanskrit word for illusion in Buddhism and even in Hinduism. The world of spirits is often characterized by Maya, by illusion, and our world itself, the world of humans too, regardless of you know, whether we are, I mean, or even the material plane is plagued by illusion. What more with a narcissist who's able to pretend to be, you know, whatever he or she is not. So yeah, I really believe that you can't just use science. You can't always say, oh, you know, it's science, you know, science says this, that psychology says this, because even science and psychology have not found satisfactory answers for really moral and spiritual phenomena like this. And if we were to return to what M. Scott Peck has actually said in his book People of the Lie, he himself admitted as a practicing psychologist that that psychiatry has a lot to learn from various religious traditions in terms of the idea of morality and ethics, on how to treat people, and to treat people well. So that itself is a very outright admission that we can't just always claim to be scientific all the time. With narcissism and narcissistic abuse, I think that all the more we need to be careful, to be discerning. We can't take people for their word or for their face value. Everyone has an energy. Everyone has an energy. Everyone has a vibe. Science doesn't talk about vibe. It doesn't talk about vibration, frequency. But religion, spirituality, they talk about ethics. They talk about morality. They talk about feeling for that evil or the good in a person, feeling for the intent, instead of trying to use empirical evidence, which can be very deceptive at times. So we know that humans can, you know, even humans can do that. They can pretend to be a good person, but deep down inside, their motives are actually a lot more dubious, a lot more suspicious than that. Okay, so yeah, so I mean, that's basically it about today's topic about whether narcissists are demon possessed. I believe that somehow science hasn't afforded us any clear answers. I think that more than ever, it's important that we learn to really just start examining our own lives and other people's. I mean, not just other people's, but our own lives. So are we strong enough and discerning enough to read people, to read ourselves, to know where our weaknesses and where our strengths lie? So if we know our weaknesses and our strengths, are we able to be self-assured in our own being, that we do not need to seek affirmation from another person? Because this is what narcissists thrive on. They thrive on people who don't really know themselves very well. And also whether we are discerning enough spiritually to be able to, not just spiritually, but even, let's say, on the basis of being emotionally, yes, whether we are emotionally discerning to be able to tell a narcissist apart. Most of us can't, but we should be able to at least be strong enough to repel them with our own boundaries, our own sense of who we are. So yeah, and we shouldn't be trusting in appearances. If you really believe that narcissists are not just your average garden variety jerk, or your garden variety bitch, then you recognize that what we need is actually a very clear sense of our own values, our own morals, and we do not budge no matter how much the narcissist tries to, manipulate us and make us feel bad for having all these values. Okay, so that's it for now. Okay, I'll upload another video later on in the week about death and the narcissist, because I think that it's actually a very important topic to take note of, and I actually have written something about it before. I believe that it actually has a lot to say about narcissists and their complicated relationship. It's not even a love. It's not a love. Yeah, it's a kind of a love-hate relationship with death. It's not that they love death, but they love the deaths of other people. But yeah, but I'll keep that for another video. So that's it for tonight, and I'm off. So have a good rest of the weekend. I believe it's actually going to be July the 4th, which is Independence Day for my American friends, and as for me myself, it's actually my Canada Day weekend, although I'm not in Canada right now. I actually plan to celebrate in my own way, my own small way. I can't really eat poutine. I love poutine, Canadian poutine, but which is actually cheese curds and fries and potato gravy. That's my favorite. Yeah, but I mean, having recovered from sickness and COVID, it's not fun to actually get sick again. So I'm taking care of my health, but I'll celebrate and take a rest and take a lot more walks in the park, and just chill and relax before the week begins on Tuesdays. Yeah, so see you everyone. Bye bye.